Good evening, everybody. So, I had some errands I had to run after my last video, after I edited it. And so it's now 9 o'clock p.m. and I'm going to do the card reading as I promised. And we've got a snowstorm. It started. So I'm going to use the Work Your Light cards by Rebecca Campbell. They are an oracle card deck. Take a deep breath. And if you're watching, you can close your eyes. The card just fell out. Okay. I just put that card aside. I'm going to flip 3 cards, and this reading is a global reading. It's concerning what's happening globally. And if you sense changes happening, there are many changes happening. There are changes happening behind the scenes that we can't see. But that's always been that way. It's always been that way. You don't think that they're going to let us know everything. But what's happened in this present moment that's different than back then, during the 1800s, 17, 16, 1500s, what's different is that people are becoming consciously aware, little by little, slowly. And as people become consciously aware, they're picking up on an emphasis, an energetic emphasis that is similar. Now, I don't want to lump this into a certain group. I don't believe in that. I believe in individuality. I believe that we meet people along the way that we are supposed to meet in our lives. Some, they remain that way throughout our lives. Some pass through for a short season. Some pass through for a specific reason. But this emphasis is a result of individuals sensing that something out there is not quite right. And it isn't. The only thing that we can really hold on to is our own souls. Now, I don't know what your belief system is, and I don't need to know what your belief system is. That is not what this is about either. Anybody can become aware of their surroundings, circumstances, fluxes and changes in environments, constructs, and economic constructs, global constructs. We all can become aware as individuals. And as that happens, there's a rising up of people that are willing to talk about this. And it's not enough to say all you need is love. That's not enough. we have to show it. And if we don't show it, what is it? That's got to be the hardest thing to do, because we in our humanity want to protect ourselves. We want to protect our families. We want to protect our towns, our governments, our countries. And so walls get built up. And right now what's happening is, from generations and generations and generations, these walls are crumbling down. And so let's see what the cards have to say. The first card is called Trust Your Path. This is very difficult to do, because say you find yourself on a path, in a direction, and it's a chosen direction. You've chosen to go in this direction. And it gets windy and rocky. The terrain becomes more difficult. What is the first thing that you want to do? I know what it is I want to do. I want to pick my gear up and I want to go back in the other direction and say, to heck with this. So what does this mean on a global scale? Well, if we do not trust the path that we are on as a global world, and believe that something bigger, something greater than ourselves is helping us and guiding us to a better way of being, I dare not say what the answer to that will be. Because everything we do and every decision we make, there's an element of trust, even when it's unknowing. When we go to bed at night, there's an element of trust we're going to wake up in the morning. When we use the facilities, there's an element of trust that everything is going to biologically work the way it's supposed to. When we get in our cars and we head out to go wherever we need to go or to work, there's an element of trust we're going to get there safely. And we do it, and we don't even think about it. But the element of trust that we as human beings in this time of the world's history has to be more enlightened in order for the trajectory of where we all are going to be safe. And so one might ask, well, how do we do that? It's really very simple. Decide for yourselves to commit to a belief system that is beyond you. You know, years ago, many, 28, 29, 30 years ago, the AA principle the Alcoholics Anonymous principle. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. That was a prayer that was said at the end of every meeting. And there were people that went to those meetings that did not believe in God. And one of the sponsors at a particular meeting said to his sponsee, see this pencil? This is your God. And every day you wake up, you are going to tell this pencil that you trust it, that you believe in it, and that it's going to be there for you. And that sponsee said, well, that's just stupid. And so the sponsor said, well, you're saying you don't have a belief system at all, so I'm giving you a belief system. Here's a pencil. And so the sponsee said, fine, I'll try it. And so every day the sponsee woke up, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, why I'm supposed to be doing this, but I'm going to do it. And every day, that sponsee's life changed. Little by little, there were changes. Great changes. Now, if you take that one principle, just get up in the morning and you offer your day, the universe, God, Spirit, today I give you myself. I offer myself to you and to this day. I am grateful and I am thankful for all that was and all that is. And so it is. Amen. And you go about your business. You are forming a bond of trust. Can't see it, can't feel it, can't taste it, and can't touch it. But the energy of that trust is there. So, if you knew that you would be supported beyond a shadow of a doubt, what would you do right now? That's how strong your belief system needs to be. When you get in that car and you drive out of the driveway, you're not even thinking about the trust that it takes to get in that car and drive away. How much more important are you to a power that is greater than you? And as we all get together in our own individuality and form this belief system for the greater good, for the common good, there's no way it will fail. There is no way it will fail. This is where we're headed. And so there does need to be a choice, not a big group choice, an individual choice that energetically becomes global. Card number 1. Let's pick card number 2. Inner temple. We have two people. These people, they're not just people. They're representations of two decisions. Two roads diverged into the woods. Two roads to the temple. Two ways to go. You want to go the way that is going to bring you there, or do you want to buck it and go the other way? And however you get there, one never knows. But this card is all about being true to your heart. Excuse me. Being devoted to your heart space by going within to the inner temple and working that crap out. Doing some house cleaning. Take out the vacuum. Take out the dust rag. Dust around all those nasty thoughts you're thinking. Go into that closet and pull out those skeletons and look at them. And decide how you want to go forward. And put some of this stuff where it needs to be. Make peace with it. And go forward. Because as I've said in even my makeup videos, when the heart isn't right, nothing else around us is going to be right. Because it's an inside job. And it takes courage. And we wonder why we have so many problems in this world today. And so what we're doing is we're looking towards our leaders to help us, and they have just as many problems, if not more. So we have to make that decision as individuals. We have to make the decision to not harden our hearts. And that doesn't mean that we have to put up with abuse. It simply means knowing yourself enough to trust yourself enough to be able to move forward in a healthy way. And if more people would do that, then these powers that be that try to control us like puppets, they won't be able to. We're going to be too happy and too fulfilled and too consciously aware to allow that to happen. And on an individual basis, whatever you're going through, it's the same deal. So tune in to the portal of your own heart. We're talking globally here. I think this is really interesting because I was going to say something on these lines. Protection. So we've got the past card, which is to trust the path that we're on. Trust this trajectory. In the meantime, get right in here. Get right. Cleanse. Cleanse. inner purification, the inner temple. And this card here is the protection card. And what this card means is that, first of all, this right here, this is a form of spiritual protection. You can also take your hand. Let me pull back. Okay, hi everybody. You can also take this hand and put it on this knee, and this hand and put it on this knee. That's another form of protection. Or you can go like this. Say you're in a chaotic place. There's a lot of chaos going on, and it's beginning to bother you. You can just sit like this, peacefully. You don't have to let anybody know what you're doing. You can cross your hands, put them one on each knee, or if you can't reach down, just cross one hand on one thigh and one hand on the other thigh. We are being called to call back our own individual personal power as spiritual beings, not human beings. Because when we act out of the human existence, we tend to act on impulse in ways that are not, they're not healthy. They're not ways that will precipitate a positive outcome. And the transition into a new way of living will be harder for all of us. So we are being called to take our power back as spiritual, energetic beings. Cut the cords, cut more. Can't hurt me anymore. Can't do this to me anymore. There is a way that it can be done with angels. Archangel Michael. There are people that do this spiritually, doing energy work. I've had it done. I've also done it myself. And soul retrieval. Soul retrieval is when we bring our soul back to the house it was made to live in, so it can be the powerful spiritual being it was meant to be. And then on a conscious level, it will merge with all the other souls naturally, not by force, not by marching in the streets, not by weapons, but by the grace of God and the power of the Creator. So the card that fell out is called Imrama. For today and for the next couple of weeks, Put this in your memory bank. Where are you being called to journey to? Imrama is a Celtic word which means journey of the soul. And I find it interesting how this card fell out first, and I put it aside because we are all on our own individual journeys. But what we are being asked, okay, they can all be different. They don't have to be the same. They can be individual. But what we are being asked to do is to connect within our soul, within our being, within our heart space, and root out all of the stuff that's holding us back, and to connect with that. Because while it is said that love is enough, it's not enough if those of us that are supposed to be doing the loving don't even know how to. And that's why it begins in here. And that's why we need to take our power back as spiritual beings so that we can love ourselves enough to be able to love others just as much. And there's a reason for it. Something that needs to be rebuilt has to fall apart first. And I've said it before, and that seems to be the message going forward. So, be strong and of good courage. Fear not. Until we meet again, God bless.